Christina Peterson. I'm a senior product manager at Salesforce. I graduated in 2012. Yes, everything they said. So I do want to give a bit of background on kind of my career trajectory before I jump into the presentation, so you know who it is that who is talking to you. So my first job out of college was at HP. I was hired as in their IT department to support their back-end software for their supply chain. And caveat, my major was business information systems, if that sounds a little bit more technical than the other careers that you've heard so far. After HP, I joined Salesforce, and the first role I had was in customer support, supporting any problems that customers had using the software. And then I was able to transition to product management, where I've been for the past 4 years. So that's a little bit about me. Now we'll jump into the presentation. The title is called Radical Transparency, which I'm going to practice a bit of today. What I'm going to do is introduce to you what a whisper network is. And the reason why, so a whisper network is telling people how much you make. And it's something that you all should practice in your careers. It helps yourself as well as others. So that's what I would encourage, is a bit of transparency around that. So we'll jump right in. I do, so yeah, we'll get into that. The reason for this is it's kind of a taboo topic, but I do think that we'll learn from each other and grow, so definitely prepare yourselves. But I do want to say that there is a huge caveat. So I'm based in San Francisco, one of the most expensive cities to live in, and there is an inflation on the cost of living, and so you might see some of the salaries a little bit higher compared to where you might get the same exact job at another city. So just keep in mind, San Francisco costs $24,000 a year in rent alone just to share a bedroom with someone, so keep that in mind. Okay, so my first job out of college was at Hewlett-Packard. The offer they gave me was $65,000. I countered to do $70,000, and they settled on $69,000. And then, yeah, I don't understand, cool, $1,000 you saved. And then I joined Salesforce, and they offered to match what I was making at Hewlett-Packard. I countered at $75,000, and they settled on $72,000. And then I found a new role within Salesforce, and I started my career in product management. And so my first salary within product management was $105,000. And I will say, you see these plus 10% things? These are, Salesforce gives bonuses each year, and it's an additional 10% of what I was making. And then I got promoted from associate product manager to product manager, and I was making $142,000. And now I'm like a grade higher, and so now I'm at 15% of a bonus on top of that. Lastly, I got promoted again to senior product manager, and so now I'm at $165,000 with 15%. And this isn't to just show off what I do want. It's kind of giving you an inside view into what happens during people's career. It's not going to be the same as what you do, like talking about highs and lows, but I do just want to kind of break the mold and share something that's never talked about. Also, if you're ever trying to understand if you're getting comparable offer or comparable offer to the market, you can always go to Glassdoor. I would have loved to know this when I first started looking at different companies to join. Glassdoor.com, you can search for a company, the location, your title, and see what the average pay is for that. And it's also helpful to see if you're getting paid fairly within your own job, too. And also make sure to contribute to it, so it's all people post how much they make, and that's why the data is so relevant. Okay, but I'm going to move on outside, talk about product a little bit, I promise. But the last thing I want to cover is what you should all be thinking about when you do get offers. There's more than just my base pay plus my bonus that I was talking about. Sometimes it might be in form of a commission, depending on what your role is. But you also can be presented stock options. So stock option might look like $40,000 that vests over 4 years, which is an incentive for you to stay for that 4 years. And you would get $10,000 each year that you stay. Other things you might get in an offer would be like a sign-on bonus, just a nice little bonus to get you started. Or if it takes, if you pick a job and it requires you to move, they can also cover moving costs as well. So that's kind of what you should know happens in an offer. It may not, I still don't have all of these in part of my total compensation package right now. So it may come at different stages in your career. Your entry-level position may not include a bonus. It may not, and certain companies don't even offer those things. But this is pieces of the puzzle to what you can consider when you start taking jobs at companies. And then other things that's more than just comp. It's also the benefits and the perks. Do they have free lunches? Do they give you a gym membership? How many weeks in PTO do you get? Paid time off, vacation time, or VTO, so volunteer time. And then this might be applicable to something for you later down the road, but what is their parental leave like? Things to consider. Okay, done talking money. So now I want to talk about product management. I am going to skip ahead a couple steps. I'm not going to explain what product management is, but if you are considering product, these are the key strengths that I think you should have just innately as a person to qualify for a position. All right, so the first thing is to have an opinion. So an example I give is when you're using apps every day, like the app you use to text your friends, Instagram, Gmail, or whatever mail app you use, do you just all of a sudden start having opinions and thoughts about how it could be better or ideas that it could be doing but it's not? That's the kind of like formulating opinions about things that you use that matters. And being able to express those opinions and have a point of view is something that is an innate need to be a product manager. I have this motto that I go by, which is strong opinions loosely held. And that is that I do have opinions, but the second someone kind of presents me a different way of seeing things or an argument that makes sense, I'm easily persuaded, and you can collaborate that way. The next is the ability to move forward with ambiguity. So this is all about the ability to make decisions. You're not always going to have every single bit of information that you need to make the perfect decision. You have to weigh the pros and cons about things, but honestly, if you have the ability to choose one and move forward, you're ahead of your peers. I see people all the time get stuck where they don't have the perfect solution. They don't know if it's going to be, everything that they need it to, and they kind of just spin their wheels and they get stuck and they don't move forward. So knowing that you're not going to have all the information, but still being able to see things through is a huge personality trait. And so these kinds of things are things you're not going to take a course about. It's kind of the soft skills that is needed in product management. The next thing is have a bias for action. So this is all about moving things over the finish line. Can you, are you a self-starter? Are you someone who takes initiative and is proactive about things? Someone who isn't waiting around to be told what to do or is asking permission to do something, you just do it. This is kind of fundamental product management stuff here, where you truly have to have that in you to get things done. Awesome. So those are the skills. The last section I want to go over is just considering working as more than just a job and the other things that you can do on the side. So I'm going to share some of the things that I've done to kind of highlight. And I'm going to share it through some pictures. So the upper left corner was so Salesforce offers 40 hours of volunteer time. So I took it all in one chunk, and I went to Guatemala and helped build a school for a week. And it was an amazing experience. It had nothing to do with work, except for the fact that I chose a company that supports things like that. And it gave me an experience that opened my eyes and saw parts of the world that I would have never gone to otherwise. The second picture, the upper right, is me and Sheryl Sandberg. And so I had the opportunity to meet Sheryl Sandberg because of the involvement that I have at Salesforce and their Salesforce Women's Network. It's an employee resource group, and I was the vice president. And Sheryl invited a number of leaders to this conference, and she hosted us at her house. And I've actually met her a couple times. So that was something that had nothing to do with my day job. It was just something I was passionate about. And I had the opportunity to meet someone who's, in my mind, amazing. The bottom right was me creating a podcast. So for work, again, has nothing to do with my job, but is something that, and nobody told me to do it. I didn't ask permission. I just did it because I thought it was awesome. And it was. So creating a podcast that talks about things that are top of mind for women in the workplace. Again, I work in a field like women in technology is something that you'll hear throughout your careers, is something that we need more of. And anyway, so that's why the topic is pretty a hot topic right now. And then the last one, like was mentioned, is my award for Woman of the Year. This wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't done things outside of my work. So the award was given to people who are doing innovative and interesting things in their job. And for me, it was what I'm doing with IoT and machine learning and algorithms. That was, check that box off just based off of what I'm doing in my career. But then the other piece was, and also people who are empowering women. And that only happened because of my involvement in my employee resource group. All right, so that is it. Thank you so much.